she found herself standing in a dark forest surrounded by thick fog. Suddenly, an old woman with a hunched back and wrinkled face appeared before her. In a small village, surrounded by green forests and sparkling rivers, there lived a woman named Amma. Amma was kind, gentle, and loved by everyone. Amma had been married to a strong and wise man named Kofi for many years, and they were excited to start a family. After praying and waiting for what felt like forever, Amma finally discovered she was pregnant. The whole village celebrated with her, and everyone eagerly waited the arrival of a child. But one night, something really strange happened. As Amma slept, she had a vivid dream. In the dream, she found herself standing in a dark forest, surrounded by thick fog. Suddenly, an old woman with a hunched back and wrinkled face appeared before her. The woman's eyes were piercing and bright, as if they could see into Amma's soul. "You carry a child of great beauty," the old woman said, in a voice that echoed through the trees. "But beware, for this beauty will be both a blessing and a curse. On her 20th birthday, if she does not learn to humble herself and understand the true meaning of beauty, she will lose everything she holds dear." Amma woke up in a cold sweat, her heart pounding. She told Kofi about the dream, and they both felt uneasy. What could this mean? What could this mean? How could their child's beauty be dangerous? But as the months passed, Amma and Kofi tried to push the dreams out of their mind, focusing instead on the joy of becoming parents. Finally, the day arrived, and Amma gave birth to a beautiful baby girl with bright eyes, curious eyes, and smile that melted everybody's hearts. They named her Mimi. As she grew, it became clear that the old woman's words were true. Mimi was breathtakingly beautiful. Her hair, silky and soft, shimmered in the sunlight. Her skin was so smooth as the petals of a flower, and her eyes, they sparkled like the stars in the night sky. As Mimi grew older, her beauty became the talk of the village. People would stop and stare at her as she walked by, and everyone praised her for being the most beautiful girl they ever seen. But all this attention began to affect Mimi. She loved the compliments and the way people admired her, and slowly, she became proud. In fact, too proud. Mimi started to believe that her beauty made her better than others. She would spend so many hours in front of the mirror, admiring herself and ignoring the chores she was supposed to do. When other girls in the village tried to befriend her, she would just dismiss them, thinking they weren't good enough to be her friends. Even when her mother, Amma, tried to warn her about the curse, Mimi would laugh and say, "Why should I worry? I am beautiful, and that's all that matters." Her father also tried to talk to her, but she wouldn't listen. As years passed on, and soon Mimi was approaching her 20th birthday, the villagers prepared for a grand celebration, but Amma and Kofi were more and more worried. They remembered the old woman's warning, and they feared what might happen if Mimi didn't change her ways. They tried to talk to her, to remind her of the importance of kindness and humility, but Mimi wouldn't listen. On the eve of her 20th birthday, Mimi went to bed feeling excited and proud. She couldn't wait to see what the next day would bring. But as the clock struck midnight, a strange chill filled the room. Mimi's eyes flew open. She found herself back in the dark forest from her mother's dream. The old woman with the piercing eyes stood in front of her. "The time has come," the woman said, a voice filled with sorrow. You have been given many chances to understand the true meaning of your beauty, but you have failed to learn. Now the curse will be activated. Before Mimi could respond, a blinding light surrounded her and she felt a sharp pain in her heart. When the light faded, Mimi was no longer in the forest. She was back in her room, but everything felt different. She looked in the mirror, expected to see a beautiful reflection, but instead, she saw a plain, ordinary girl staring back at her. Her long, silky hair was gone. Her skin was dull. Her eyes no longer sparkled. Mimi's heart sank. She felt as though she had lost part of herself. The realization of what she had done hit her like a wave. She had been focused on her outer beauty that she had forgotten the importance of inner beauty, kindness, humility, and love. Tears streamed down her face as she remembered all the people she had pushed away, all the friendships she has missed on just because of her pride. She spent the next days in sorrow, hiding away from the villagers, ashamed of her new appearance. But as she sat alone, reflecting on her actions, she began to realize something important. Her beauty was never been just about how she looked on the outside. True beauty came from within, from being kind and helping others and treating others with respect. Determined to break the curse, Mimi decided to change her ways. She began to help her mother with the chores, something she hadn't done in years. She started talking to the girls in the village, apologizing for how she had treated them and offering her friendship. Slowly, she became known not just for her outer beauty, but for her kindness, her generosity, and her warm heart. One day, as she was helping an elderly woman carry a heavy basket, something miraculous happened. The woman, who had been watching Mimi's transformation with a smile, revealed herself to be an old woman, the old woman from the dream. You have learned your lesson, my child, the old woman said, her voice gentle. You have shown that true beauty is not just skin deep. The curse is lifted. With those words, a warm light surrounded Mimi, and when it faded, she looked in a nearby stream and saw a reflection. Her beauty had returned, but this time it was different. It was softer, more radiant, because it now reflected the beauty within her heart. Mimi returned to the village hurriedly, not just as the most beautiful girl they had ever seen, but as a young woman who had learned the true value of beauty. She was no longer proud and vain, but humble and loving and wise. The villagers admired her even more, not just for her looks this time around, but for the person she had become. And so, Mimi lived happily ever after, always remembering the lessons she had learned and that beauty truly comes from within, and it's kindness in our hearts that makes us truly beautiful. The end.